Hey, Thrand here.
Hail, this is H.E.M.A.
Today we're going to be addressing Colin Richards on his Art of Mars HEMA Academy. Basically what's going on is he's done 2 videos, and he promised another one, I assume, is what people have told me that I've been waiting on, where he talks about the round shield, like we have here. And he's saying that the weight is anywhere from 4 to 6 kilos. Well, he's starting off at the heaviest weight, the heaviest 3-foot rounds and so on, or some of them slightly larger, up to a meter, but probably only about 9 pounds. You know, that's extremely heavy to say that that's the lowest end of the shield range, and then he goes up to around 13 pounds, I think, 13, 14 pounds, saying that that's the high end, because the kilos, what is it, 2 point? Well, no, it's, yeah, 2.3.
2.3 pounds if you're using the imperial system instead of metric.
Right, an average Viking sword, or a long Langensword, which of course is what you'd be using, not, you wouldn't be considering a sax or something, a 20-something inch blade, a sword, although you can use it with a shield. It's very, very viable, very doable. You know, it was anywhere from 29 inches on average on the blade. It could be slightly longer, slightly shorter. This is actual weight. My sword is heavier than his sword. He's got an extremely light sword, like he's speaking of, that moves very quickly. And it's balanced very well with this basket, which is normally not what a Viking sword would be like totally, but these are what we use in the SCA to protect our hands that are required, is the only reason why. But what we're going to do today is we're going to test the lighter sword. I will switch to the heavier shield that we show weighs around 15 pounds, and that's not totally historical. What we had done there is use different layering of different materials because we were trying to simulate a heavier rawhide, and the shields are a little bit lighter because we use them for reenactment. But if you had the proper layering on it, removing that center boss, it would be the same weight if you put a lighter center boss. But he's saying that the weight of the shield, if you had it out in an open ward, as he calls it, which to have the shield out like this, it's going to be at a slight angle. No one's going to be standing here open to you like this. This is just silly. Immediately, the hand's going to be hit. You know, we already know this. If you have the closed ward, as he calls it, of course the shield's going to flop around. I mean, it's just common sense. And you can't really attack around your shield like this either unless you're in a shield wall, then you'd want this. Or to stop arrows, you hold it out in front of you. But what I'm trying to say is you'd have it out like this, so if something came through it, you know, it's not going to hit you. If it did make it very far through, punching through, it's going to hit Shank. So that was the method for holding it out. And the only thing I know for a closed ward, as he calls it, is something like this. That's for arrows, standing in a shield wall, locked up with other people. You normally don't do this in combat. You could do this, I call it a neutral position sometimes, if you expect him to hit your shield. If you think he's going to hit your shield, you can move with it. I mean, you wait for him to hit the shield. And another point I want to make, you can't move the shield past this point. If you're holding it like a heater shield like this, which is normally how I stand with it, so you can see your opponent, but you're barely covered. There's nothing to hit. You can try to get in here to the arm, but you're going to be open trying to do that. What ends up happening is you're holding it very much like a heater shield. You can use all the same techniques to protect your leg. You can punch out with it at a slight angle. Make sure it's not aiming under your jaw like this. But if you do this type of thing, they can't hit your leg normally due to the angle. So it's the same kind of thing, except you still have this ability that it does turn. And it can turn quickly, fast, and you have to move with it. So we're going to cover this today, and we're going to talk about it and go through his video step by step and see what we found wrong with it. Before we go over the techniques he shows, we'll show what we consider a proper stance. Proper stance, like I said, is this way. It's kind of like holding a heater shield. You can protect your leg, like I said. I'll walk way back here so you can see it. If he's throwing down at, let's say, my shin even, he throws like really low. Let's say I'm standing this way. You saw what happened. The angle of the blade, watch, as he throws, he's not going to reach, even if he steps in to try to hit the shin. There's shield in the way because of the angle. And he's in that close, he's basically going to get hit with something. He can get thrusted, I can move, you know, I can even have it out if I want when I do this, when I protect the leg, and even have an opening for an actual cut if he's not defending the shield. So I'm just saying that this stance is good. You don't have to move much. Like he was saying, he did make a point on not moving the shield much. Well, this way everything's covered. If he does try to hit it inside of the hand, the edge can easily be there, and I don't have to do anything but catch it on my edge. What we're trying to state is you wouldn't stand here like this. If I stand here like this, and he throws a blow at my hand, yeah, if he does it really fast, it's very hard to defend that. You know, if he throws something in as a cut, he can hit that. And the feint he was talking about, if we're standing in a proper stance and he throws over here and tries to hit my hand, how is he going to redirect it? Let's see, redirect it. I'm still covered. There's nothing going to happen here, you know. So basically what I'm trying to say about it is, let's say he does try the technique he shows where he tries the feint. Yeah, I still pretty much caught it here. But let's say I do try to tip it. I'm going to try to tip it. Sorry, I tipped him in the head. But you see what I just did here? All I did is move. Now he's saying you can't move that way. There's no way if he throws as fast a blow as he can that I can get in and do something to him. I'm in here right now. If you can see this in the video. I'm in here thrusting him in the neck. I'm in here chopping him in the neck. I'm in here stabbing him under that open armpit he keeps talking about, which may or may not be open, but I assume it is. And it's all because I moved with it. Okay. This shield is heavy. This is a dinosaur thing. This is something we made just to test. This weighs 15 pounds.
Right. The heavier shield.
I'm supposedly not able, if he throws an attack to this side, to do it. This thing is just too heavy. He throws as fast as he can. I can't move in here and do this. This is not possible. You know what I just did here. And I'm using a thrust because he used a lot of thrust. A lot of times I would cut if I'm using cutting sword. But you know, I could follow the line just like Roland Warzecha. That's a cut, but let's cut with the shield line now. Alright. And that's just cutting with the shield line. I just cut him in the shoulder easily. Just cutting with the shield line. And that's copying Roland Warzecha's style there. Because a lot of times I like to throw shots like this with the SCA. They don't like stuff with like really hard helm shots. People will call that, oh, that was the back of my head right here. Oh, I'm hurt. You know, they hear the bang, and I've hit people who don't call stuff or it glances, but something like that, I'm not going to glance. The cutting, yes, you can keep your hand totally protected. He throws as fast as he wants over. And I even started late, and I still cut right into it, just following the shield line. That's all I did. And I'm offline. I stepped in and offline and turned the shield. But apparently this is not fast enough because it's 15 pounds. Let's just start on an open wire and try to throw inside on me. Oh, the sword's just too fast. I mean, I'm seeing what's going on.
I can try throwing it faster.
I can't possibly do that. It's not possible. I don't think so. You know, I mean, if it's at the proper time, let's say he was throwing even high, and I had the opportunity. I mean, I can get the shield up there. It weighs 15 pounds.
I know why we wear
the sword
knee guards in the
is
SCA.
Fast, and yes, you can throw really sharp blows with it. Really tactical, you know, HEMA style blows, but it's still not that fast. I mean, you can still have time to move your shield. The trick is if you take advantage of it. And I think what we have the problem of here in this video is not only the guy didn't know how to use the shield, but you don't just do this. The thing is, you have to move with it. And what he was showing was something like this. Let me do it with you.
Okay.
And see how I'm pushing this in? That's what he was showing as a technique that would work. You see why I don't think that would work. That proved it right there. Now this is the one that Colin confuses me with. Colin says that, you know, this is a technique and he just does the spur of the moment, and this proves this doesn't work. But what he's doing is he's doing the same technique that Roland Warzecha, which I hope I'm pronouncing your name right and correctly, my lord. I was honored to talk to you the other day online. What I was going to say about this is he does the same technique that was interpreted of the Talhoffers when he got the idea of turning the shield, you know, actually turning the shield and catching his shoulder. He does the same thing, but he just sets it up differently. The baiting was the exact same technique. So what happens if I throw here, because he had this open defense, or we call it open ward, I throw here, he stops it, I push this into his arm and trap him in here. And then he shows, well, he's open here, and I can cut him and thrust him. But the thing is silly, this is the same one that's shown in that he showed that he interpreted in Talhoffers. This is the same technique that Roland Warzecha showed, and I'll show you. It is the exact same technique, because if he's standing where he doesn't have his arm in to catch the shield, he's not unsuspected, with a slightly inward ward like we would stand with, so I can more easily possibly do this. Push in here, catch in here, I cut at the same time, boom. I have all my open areas in this area. I can thrust, I can cut, and heck, I can get in this right across here. But the thing is, it's that same technique. All he did is mimic what was in that video, but what's odd is I don't understand, Colin, because this is a reply to you. Why didn't you interpret any of the rest of it that way? I mean, the rest of it you're interpreting, this is what they were showing. I mean, this is only if you were sticking it in the arm that you would stand in such a stance where you'd push this out, or that you would use it if you were punching, maybe. You don't fight the whole fight with this shield out here. You know, this is just silly. So weight of this thing, I can never do that. Now what we want to do here is address the next thing, the open ward. He's got the open ward here and saying that I have to move my shield in and it has inertia. I'm just going to end up like this, which I don't understand why the guy in the video is like this. First of all, my arm's exposed. I can't attack like this, especially with a large round, and it's pretty idiotic. This is heavy. I would have a hard time controlling this shield. So let's say I did have it there for some reason. Let's say I just came out of a position. Let's make this realistic. I tried to disengage and came back and threw the shot in. Wow! Guess what? My shield didn't go over here. Let's try it really fast. I'll be here and you're going to throw on the inside as soon as
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't throw my shield way over here, did I? Let's say I even wanted to do that. I expected the shot coming over here. And again, we're back in this kind of position where I'm in here. I moved and turned the shield. So what I'm trying to figure out, if this is 15 pounds and it just can't be moved, I mean, I'm just not getting it. Even if you're just throwing a shot at the body, I'll leave it wide open. Throw as fast as you can. Throw as fast as.
Broke.
I mean, it could be done. Would I want to do that? Would I want to stand here and just turn the shield that way? No. But you can still do it. And dude, he's going to get the sword. If it's hitting my shield, let's say I have my shield in a... We're just bringing this up just real quick. If he hits my shield, just so you know this, he stabs my shield. Or hits my shield and moves it. Yeah. If it moves this way, chances are his weapon is where? If I have my sword here, I can cut right here. His weapon's here because he stabbed my shield. If I had it in a neutral position and he stabbed over here, look where I'm at. So I'm not understanding what he's saying. Unless I'm holding it way out in front of me, which is too heavy to do that, you're not going to run into all those problems. You know, I'm not getting it. What if he is saying something like, you know, I'm standing here, so he can fake, and I'll try to move this way, but he can redirect his shot. Like he's going to fake over here, and I'm going to step in by accident. Let's see what happens if you do throw a fake and then try to come around the other. Not very much better. I mean, he's still in here. I can still defend. If I keep my sword in, let's see what happens. I'm still defending, even if I try to step in with it.
One more?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go a little faster.
Oh, my shield's still in the way. Since I moved in, he's not hitting anything. I can still cut in or whatever I need to do.
And you know what's interesting is that a lot of it's you moving your body to move the shield.
Right, I'm moving along the line to be aggressive. It will also work, I'll say, if he was throwing a shot and he faked and I stepped back, I'm still not totally defenseless. I'm here. If you look at what I'm trying to say, if I step back and he fakes, I'm not defenseless. I still have something in here. I don't even have to use the sword. I can just, if he's trying to step over, let's say he fakes and tries to step that way. I watched him move. I mean, what was the big difference? I'm still defended. The shield's still doing its job. That's the point I was trying. I can even thrust over whatever I like what's going on. I'm just showing that you're not instantly defenseless because you just swung your shield around. But if you're holding it correctly, you're going to be pretty much in a defensive position the entire time. Because even when it's here, it'll be something like that unless you're opening up to cut. Or it'll be something like that unless you're opening up slightly to cut or to thrust out. And then it will close back up. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but you don't want to leave that open. Let's do the technique he just did. We're both standing here and he's got open wards, do the open ward, and he's saying that what happens is if I come in here to do this, then you can instantly do the same thing or come here. If I have my sword in like we do it, and this is going to hit my knuckle, attack you at the same time, hold your sword, hold your shield way in like we normally do it.
Oh yeah.
And let's say I do the same thing, if I manage to slip it offline, try to hit my hand and stuff, I'm still inside. He wasn't doing this correctly.
Than my shield.
I stepped offline as I did it. If he tries to hit me with that, yes, can he hit me with the shield possibly? Yeah. I'm not that worried about that. Try to hit my arm, just use the part that's not got crap on it. Yeah, just hit my arm. It's not going to break my arm with that.
No, I'm more worried about that.
But I'm worried here where, yeah, I'm already inside. I don't see his point to that one. I mean, yes, this can happen in the SCA, and it happens a lot. Let's say we both are like this, and I try to catch your arm. You immediately try to stab inside my arm if I have my arm out.
Stab inside yours?
Yeah. Now, we are locked up, and this is pretty even. I mean, I can try to get over here. He can try to do stuff. Try to throw blows around. You know, I mean, I can try to get in, but all these blows aren't going to do anything. If he's wearing a light helmet or something, I can't even get him. I'm not going to be able to get anything around this. Nothing substantial. It's a good cut. So yes, it can be even if that happens. But I mean, there's situations like we were showing. It'd be the same thing with this as we did with the axe the other day. Let's say I was to try to cut me. What I did is I just pulled his shield out of the way. Even if he's trying to punch me, what I did is I just pulled it out of the way because I see him here and I want to go in. You're seeing what I'm getting at here. I can press back, have longer range. You can't hit me. You can try to get away and move away, but it's the same thing. There's things you can do. Yes, if I just try to step in and cut, and he knows that's all I'm going to do is step in and cut, when I try to step in and do that and cut, he's going to do something else. So I don't see the point to what he's saying about hitting your knuckles and all this kind of thing. It can still take place, still work. There's other things you could do. Move the shield out of the way. You could be using your pommel and your, if you catch it on the inside, lots of things you can do. Hook it. I mean, I don't see the point. I'm highly disadvantaged, and he talks about a fake on this side, and then stepping over and thrusting on this side, or pressing with the shield and having me open on this side. So let's see what happens if I believe it's fake. Oh! That wasn't fast enough, though. I mean, there's nothing I could, do, because he's so much faster than me. I mean, my shield didn't do anything, right? Let's try it one more time. Yeah, I'm in an uncomfortable position with the shield, and it's not very graceful. But I still was able to get the shield back to do something. I mean, that's not probably the best technique to handle it. But let's say I didn't know any better, and I stepped in and he tried to do it. He's still pressed, and I'm in here. Any way you look at this, he's not in the best situation. Because I stepped in on it. The point I'm looking at is this guy in the video just stands there the entire time. So I'm not trying to put him down. I know he's unskilled. But silly enough, I'm just trying to stand here and do that one more time. Go real fast with a feint. Was I able to still do my thing? Now, you got to hit my shield. You got to do that. You got to do that. I'm going to try to, you're going to do the same thing in a feint. Oh! Now look at his arm here. Has anybody seen the arm here? And I just use my shield to pull along and cut his throat. But notice one thing we're doing different. Our shields are staying up. Much like buckler combat, they're up. They're not down here. We're not trying to fight over a wall that's immovable in front of us like people do with smaller round shields. We're not trying to sword fence up here. We're not trying to do stuff like this over the top of the shield. Because that's a shield wall thing if you're going to do it at all. But chances are in a shield wall, you'd have polemen, spearmen behind you, axemen lined up all about. You'd be hiding behind your shield and protecting your head. You wouldn't be worried about, all locked up. You wouldn't be worried about trying to get the guy with your sword if he's not close enough to get. That's just something. You'd let your longer weapons do all that for you. I mean, I've been enough shield walls in the SCA to know that trying to poke your head out and throw a blow, sometimes it's okay, but sometimes that's the death of you. You get a spear in the face and that's the end of you. And that's a shield wall thing. You don't want to do that in single combat. I just don't see that being effective. If I try to do that single combat fight with a big round shield like this, first of all, I couldn't get around it. Even if I hold it low, I just lost all my attacks to the leg. Anything I throw at the leg, if I try to cut properly or anything, it's gone. Only cuts I would have are stuff this way, which has got my blade out away from me, watch, not towards the opponent, which makes sense. If I want to hit him with a shield, I have to follow the line of the shield. And if I follow the line of the shield, I'm just lined up where I want to cut him, I'm not that open. I'm not that open. Because immediately I have protection in here also. Like I pushed it out into his arm, which could he use his arm? No. He didn't do anything like that. I don't think he's used to using the round. I'm sorry, Colin, but it just doesn't seem like you're real proficient with it, or you just haven't come out with the video yet, which, I mean, that's possible. Some people have told me, and I don't want to be rude, that you have a follow-up video of your style of the round shield. If you do, I really want to see it. We're not trying to disrespect you here. We're just stating the problems we saw in the video that we're watching.
Constructive criticism.
Yes, constructive criticism. We don't mean to disrespect you in any way, Roland. There we go. And we also hear that if you both attack at the same time,
using the same technique,
that you could both just off each other instantly. All right, let's see what happens if we both attack at the same time. Well, surprisingly, sword mechanics work. I just pushed his sword over and thrust him in the chest. Hope you can see it well, so we'll redo it.
Here,
He moved because he didn't want to get thrusted. But we'll redo it. We cut at the exact same time. Oh! Sword mechanics still work. I even pushed his shield out of the way. Surprising. I mean, isn't that simple swordsmanship that I have the leverage if I do that? We did come together, but the way the blades came together, I didn't see a lot of blade damage or anything like that. The shields were still there. But let's say we did do something silly like that and did that, one of us could still gain the advantage over the other one. But it just dawned on me, I've been standing here watching this video, and guess what? If we're both standing here in this position, we can both do the exact same thing. No, really! In combat, when two people are squared off with even gear, we can both do the exact same moves at the same time, even if we don't time them right, and we're totally evenly matched. Wow! I didn't realize this. It's the first time I've realized that in a long time.
Yeah.
Does that explain why there's skill to it, and one person has to be more intelligent or study the art more closely to gain advantage of the other guy, or be deceptive, possibly?
Right.
Be deceptive. Do something he's not expecting. Maybe that's...
Well, you know what? I have a piece of constructive criticism for that novice, and this is one that made me feel bad.
I feel sorry for the boy, because that's the young guy. This is the only first time he's ever fought with that, or tried to do it. He looks scared in the demo.
When you're a beginner, and I've been learning from Thrand, oh God, man, what's it been, like 5 or 6 years I've been learning the style from you?
Correct.
One of the things you don't want to do is circumnavigate your body to do that revolving door. You got a handle here.
And you move with it, yes.
Your body just moves with
Correct.
it. You don't have to circumnavigate your body. And so now a 15-pound shield, or like mine, what does mine weigh? Like what, 7 or 8 pounds?
Yes. Yeah, more historically accurate, correct. The center boss he got's more accurate. We have more layers of linen. They could be real light. The H.E.M.A shields were pretty sure.
But it doesn't matter how heavy or light it is. Yeah. The movement's always the same.
These the war shields are probably much heavier because they had to stand up to them more. You don't hear them breaking as often. It was a ritualized duel in H.E.M.A, so I honestly believe they had, just like you'd have dueling pistols, everybody's shield fit a certain standard. If it didn't, how could you justify that? It goes by broken shields and stuff, the combat. I've got a shield, this shield, you couldn't, I swear, you could hit this thing all day, you're not going to damage it with a sword. You can't even barely cut it. I mean, so, and he has something like this that I could damage. It's already, you can see where we took some of the rimming off and put like a false edging so we could do another video to show it disarm.
Right.
To pull the sword out of the hand.
Right.
So we did that on purpose on the shield because we
Right.
weren't going to use it anymore, and we're making more shields to fight with.
Right.
But just saying, how could you justify that duel as being accurate or fair? And you stand in some people understand H.E.M.A, you stand in a square, you can't move out. There's not a lot of movement. You can probably move in a little bit, but it's more of a thing where they even flipped a coin to see who got to throw the first blow, and they took turns. Leading up to later century duels like this with spears that they did between the knights in chivalric combat. So, no, that's a different shield. That's what we're saying. A war shield would be whatever you could muster, carry, that you thought you needed to stop the arrows, if they had lots of archers, javelins, spears, and so on. So, no, you can't, I mean, the shield could be heavy. You could still use it. If you're using a proper technique, you can still thrust it out when you need it. You can still push it in. You can punch with it in either direction if you needed to, whatever you needed to do if you were in on somebody. But hold it out for like the projectiles coming, or up over your head even if you have to. It's heavy, but you can still do it. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, and another thing that his thesis throughout this entire video, Colin's entire video thesis was the problems with the flaws in using this shield.
That's what hurt the worst.
Yeah,
this was used for hundreds of years.
This is so natural. I mean, I love this better than the strap-on heaters or anything.
Correct.
Because now I get to use my hands more like I'm like a boxer.
It's like having a sword on the other hand, and that's one of the things that Roland Warzecha told me the other day is I need to think of this more as a sword than a shield, because he's watching our videos and he did like our videos. I appreciate the comments on it and the criticism. Yeah. I'm going to try to incorporate that into other videos. And sorry, all this time I've been wanting to do this reply to Colin Richards, but the reason I haven't done it, the Art of Mars, is people keep telling me, oh no, he's a great guy and he's going to come out with another video. Well, we're doing this because if you have another video, we want to see your view of how it's done correctly. That's what we want to see.
And perhaps maybe your next thesis for a follow-up video might be the merits of this shield rather than focusing on its flaws.
Yo! I'd head again to Roland Warzecha. Thank you very much for your comments, and I'm glad you enjoyed our videos.
And farewell to all of you, and keep watching.
Yeah, subscribe, like our Facebook, and help us on Patreon if you can afford to. Farewell.
Leave that on. Don't edit that out.